replaced. Pleased to welcome now Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan, my fellow traveler in Brown's misery. And I don't know if you watched that game this weekend, Senator Sullivan, but none of us should have to go through this. Really.
No, Hugh, you and I have been talking about this forever. It's just, I don't know even what to say. Stefanski, I don't know. I'm not sure he's long for this world. And when you get like a great defense, you saw the frustration. 5 sacks, by the way.
I know Myles Garrett franchise record. Let's talk about happier things. Let's talk about commercial shipbuilding.
I'm sorry, but as I've always said, just the point that we need a franchise quarterback. We haven't had one, since Brian Sipe.
I want them to keep drafting 2 a year till we find one. Not sure it's going to be Dylan Byers. Don't know about Shedeur. So Senator Sullivan,
I don't know. So we'll see.
We'll see. Let's talk about commercial shipbuilding because we have a brighter set of news there. You held a hearing on that today. Are you actually an optimist we're going to get the hulls built in the United States again?
Well, Hugh, look, we've dug a huge hole. And the problem with this, it's like so many things in America where we didn't see, and it was kind of both sides of the aisle. We didn't see the giant challenge of China. We outsourced everything over the last 4 decades to China. Wall Street certainly helped. And then we wake up and we're like less than 1% of commercial shipping that we now produce, and the Chinese are over 50%. By the way, it's the same thing with critical minerals, right? We have the minerals in Alaska. We have the rare earths. We have the critical minerals. We outsourced all of that to China. Now they're our adversary. Wall Street helped. So it's going to take some time, but the one thing we have going right now in terms of shipbuilding, which is good, presidential leadership. President Trump is really focused on this for the Navy and the commercial sector of the economy. Congress is very focused on it, and we're putting some money. The one big beautiful bill, the budget reconciliation bill. One of the witnesses, when Bernie Moreno asked him a question today, how good is this bill for shipbuilding? He said it's generational, generational. So we're on it, but we got a big hole that we're digging out of.
Now, we've got allies who build ships. Like the Finns are going to sell us some Coast Guard cutters. That's a big win. South Koreans have bought the Philadelphia shipyard. They're going to pour money into revitalizing. That's a big win. Where else are we counting on shipyards expanding? Because there's dual use here. You can build a shipyard for commercial that can quickly become useful for warships if needed.
You're exactly right. And by the way, I don't normally do shout outs to the Chinese Communist Party, but they have kind of mastered that whole idea of dual use commercial, then immediately to the warfighting ships. So, but you're right on the Philly shipyard. That's Hanwha from Korea. That is a company our shipbuilding industry can learn a lot from. Similarly with the Japanese. And you may have seen, I just talked to the president about it last week, the Finns, when the president of Finland was in town, he and the president did this big ice pack announcement. We're building 16 new icebreakers from the One Big Beautiful Bill. The Finns are going to build the first 4. Then they're going to bring that technology and investment over to our shipyard to build the rest of them. I think this is actually a really good model. And we can learn from our allies. They're a great new NATO ally. The Koreans and Japanese are great allies. So we got a lot of work to do, and our allies can be a big part of it. And they're all going to be investing in our shipyards. But they have technology that we need, and we got to get on it.
Now, Senator, I do not own a share of General Electric Boat or General Dynamics, which owns Electric Boat. But I do know we need submarine domination like we have. We have to extend it. Is there money in the Big Beautiful Bill for expanding Electric Boat or building additional repair facilities so they can turn out more Virginia and Columbia class submarines?
Absolutely. There's $29 billion in the One Big Beautiful Bill.
I did not know that.
Just for Navy shipbuilding, right? There's $25 billion for recapitalizing our Coast Guard. It's the biggest investment in the Coast Guard in American history. And look, I think the Secretary of War, the Deputy Secretary in particular, is doing a great job going to these shipyards and really pressing the primes, Electric Boat and others that build these ships. But the one thing we need, Hugh, is we need more competition. You know, when you got one American shipbuilder that builds every aircraft carrier in our Navy, that's just not good. The good news on this is we got a lot of these new defense tech firms that are coming up, that are very innovative, that are putting pressure and competition on the traditional primes. That's exactly what we need to do. I've been trying to get the Pentagon to change this culture. Hey, look at the Andurils. Look at some of these other shipbuilding new defense firms. Don't always rely on the primes. Let's get some more competition. But that's the good news. We have the money. We have the presidential leadership. And we do have a bipartisan focus here in the Congress on shipbuilding, both commercial and the Navy. That's usually the ingredients, those things: White House leadership, serious appropriations, and bipartisan legislation that can make it stay for many years. We have all three of those, but we got a long way to go.
Quick question. Have you ever brought Palmer Luckey to talk to the Congress? He's a Southern California guy. He'll show up in board shorts and flip-flops, but boy, he's an innovative. You mentioned Anduril. That's his company.
Yeah.
Has he ever been to Congress to talk to you folks?
Well, I was at an event with him just like 2 weeks ago. I think he's fantastic. I've been to his facility. You know, for the people who don't know what Anduril is, it's a defense startup, defense tech startup that he really kind of led the vanguard on. And Hugh, the longer story is, you know it, you know, our Silicon Valley part of our economy was never interested in working with the Pentagon, all these smart tech guys. And Palmer Luckey said, hey, I'm going to help our military become more lethal. That's what he's done. He's doing a great job, but we can learn from him and, you know, spend more time on the middle Anduril to help our whole defense sector.
He's a patriot. Senator Dan Sullivan, long-suffering Browns fan along with me, but also an advocate for shipbuilding of both commercial and military. Thank you for